Welcome to Some Say I'm Gifted, where we teach you the magic of walking in your spiritual gifts and how it can help you navigate this crazy life, and helping you understand that even though we're in this world, we are not of it. So take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, and let's get real.
Hey y'all, this is Tess, and this is Some Say We're Gifted. I'm gifted, you're gifted, we're all gifted, right? Some say I'm gifted. You would think I was gifted today, just saying. I do good numbers in June, but this is July. And I am here with my two amazing co-hostesses. I don't even, hostesses. What do we say here, ladies? Morgan and Danielle, would you ladies like to say hello?
Hi everyone, I'm Danielle.
Hey guys, it's Morgan.
Morgan, you were just asking us if we should say it, so you go ahead and say it. What is this?
This is season 2.
We made it a whole year. It's insane.
Let's go.
It's almost a year.
Well, seasons,
It's
years.
just we're changing up our style a little. So season 2, we're changing it a little.
And how are we changing it? I think you should just go into this because this was brought to us by you and your lovely mother.
My mom suggested that we do, and we actually had several requests from listeners that we do longer episodes.
So we're going for an hour.
Yeah,
if we have the endurance.
Hit around there.
We did have a pre-accident earlier, but we'll talk about that later. Anyways, little mayonnaise on the counter.
Didn't make it. I didn't make it, guys.
Morgan had a little accident. It's okay.
I have so many stories that go with that, but I won't start there. What I would like to start with is we're going to do a little segment. We're going to try to do it every episode. Give us some grace because we like to give everybody else grace. Of shouting out our favorite local businesses to where we are, because we're all in different places. We're together right now, but we live in different places. And I would like to start with Courtney Ayers at Vibe Nail Salon. I love her. She's my nail tech. She's amazing. Like, I know that you guys can see my nails, and she hand paints each and every one of them. These are like my favorite, to the point that I've let them grow out so long that because I don't want to do another set. But anyways, guys, check her out, Courtney Ayers at Vibes Nail Salon. She does great work. She's on Facebook, Instagram, and she's just great. She's really magical.
I love that.
Your nails look amazing, so she does a great job.
And she makes me feel comfortable, like, being my gifts and things like that, too, so it's cool.
Yeah.
But anyways, today we want to talk about how it feels when God opens a door.
Okay.
And do you all feel like at any point in your life God's ever opened a door?
For sure.
Oh, a few. Quite a few.
I want to talk about one in particular person, a client of mine that I am working with, and she has been, I don't want you to think that I'm bragging about her, but she's been very multi-talented, multifaceted. We'll say that. Okay. She has been thinking about for a little over a year, going into not another career, but adding a career to her life. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So we've been counseling through this and really talking about, and she's really kept it private. I mean, she talked to her spouse about it, but she'd really kept it private. And what is the name we always use for the person?
Tory.
So we'll call her Tory.
Okay, Tory.
Okay. So Tory was, because of the economy of the world, and because she thinks that her abilities can be used in different ways, she thinks that she would be good in this new career, right? Mm-hmm. And like I said, I learned recently that you don't call it like second income, you call it a dual income for one person. So like in her household now, it would be a triple income.
Okay. Wow.
Which with today's society and the economics the way it is, I think you all would agree, and everybody else, that's understandable.
It certainly doesn't hurt.
Yeah, because she has several kids as well. Okay. Mm-hmm. And her kids have gotten to a point where they're old enough they don't need her 24/7. You know what I mean? She can kind of start. Anyways, so she'd been quietly talking about adding on this second career, or however you want to word that, right? And before you know it, she started praying about it. She asked her husband to pray about it. Okay. That's the only people she'd asked to pray about it. And before you knew it, she was getting phone calls from people in that line of work saying, hey, have you ever considered doing this? She was so freaked out. She told me, you know, like she was freaking out because like nobody knew, right? She had kind of kidded it. Her kids had joked with her about it, saying, you know, your haircut makes you look like this kind of person. The way you dress makes you look like that kind of person, whatever. But it was all in the same, like, field, right? Mm-hmm. And she was really nervous. So finally she called someone she holds very dear to her heart and says, hey, what do you think about this? And they were like, oh, I wasn't kidding when I talked to you last week. Do you want a job in this field? Whoa. Even though you don't have a license, you're not trained in it yet. Yeah. Do you want a job? She was just beyond herself because, and I understand this because you get to a point in your life when you're a mom or stepmom or whatever, or even just a wife, right? And you're doing your career and that's all you are. Like, it's not that it's a bad thing. It's just like, I've lost my edge. I mean, I've told Morgan that I quit smoking 2 years ago. Yep. And I was like, I've lost my edge. I'm no longer cool, right?
Mm-hmm. You kind of start to lose your identity.
Yes. Yeah. And you feel, it's not that you have to feel needed, wanted, and desired 24/7. It's just they can make their own sandwiches now. Mm-hmm. And they can do their own laundry. And, you know, you get to that point where you're like,
you're not needed to do those things. You're needed for other things.
Yeah, it's almost like finding a new purpose.
Yes,
almost.
Yes.
Yeah.
Repurposing a quilt. That's what we should call it. Anyways, she felt just beyond herself. So she had reached out to someone that she loves and mentor, like someone that mentors her, so to speak. This is a kind of weird relationship. Let me see if I can explain it correctly. This Tory reached out to one of her friends whose mother mentors Tory. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Tory's friend said to her mother, hey, will you pray for Tory because they're going to be moving into a new house. They're looking for a new house.
Okay.
And Tory's friend, Sarah.
There we go. Make it easy.
Yeah,
we need some names.
Perfect.
Sarah's mother, Cynthia, might get hit in the face for that, said... Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'll put it on my prayer, like everything I pray for, right? Now, that was probably, I'd say 8 months ago.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Something.
So let's fast forward to a few weeks ago when Tory gets the phone call about getting this job offer, right? So Tory had told Sarah, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go into this field. I'm not stopping my other work. I'm adding to it. I'm combining it, so to speak. I'm still going to be who I am. And Sarah was like, that's great. That's awesome. And Tory said, have you told your mom, Cynthia, yet? And she was like, no, it's so weird. I keep meaning to. It's so weird. So while this is happening, Tory is like getting validation from every person in her life, like to the point that it's weird. The person that offered her the job, the name of the company is Copper Key, which might not mean anything to a lot of people, but every time Tory turns around, she's seeing a Copper Key. And the weirdest thing is she was married pretty recently, within the last 10 years. And one of the, like, you know, when you go to a wedding, they give you, like, giveaway things.
Like little gifts.
Yeah. Her giveaway thing was a Copper Key bottle opener. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
So the name of the company is Copper Key. Yada,
Wow.
yada. Okay, so Copper Key was showing up everywhere to the point that she contacted me earlier today. She was in a really cool house, and the wallpaper had Copper Keys on it, and she went, oh my God, there's Copper Keys. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Okay.
Like multiple Copper
I didn't know
keys.
that part of the story.
Yeah.
Me neither.
So it's really bizarre, right? So anyways, Sarah calls Tory and says, I have to tell you something. She's like, what? She's like, my mom has been praying for you. And I was like, that's great. Thanks. Then Tory gets a message from Cynthia saying, I've been praying for you to get a new house, but God told me to not pray for the house. He told me to pray for the new opportunity. I'm getting cold chills talking about this, so I try not to cry. And Tory started to cry when she read it because she knew that if she didn't have the support of somebody else out there kind of having her back, and Tory didn't know that anybody had her back. she was kind of like yada, 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 running through a field of daisies, you know? But here, God had laid it on somebody else's heart. So how do you know when God opens the door for you, right?
Yeah.
Because everything starts to line up in your face. To
Yeah.
where you can't look away from it.
Yep.
To where you walk into a beautiful home and you see copper keys hidden in wallpaper. You know what I mean? So to the point that everything you hear the word copper. I was talking with Tory and she said, I just got off the phone with somebody. This was yesterday, I think. She said, I just got off the phone with somebody and she said the word copper, it had to be 18 times.
Wow.
Whoa.
40-minute phone call. Wow. She said she didn't know. Tory also is starting to pick up clients and hasn't even registered for classes yet. I can't express when God opens a door, it's in your face. Now, I know that there are people out there going, wait a minute. How do you not know that it's something else setting you up for failure? Because when people that do, let's say, well, Danielle, you're a realtor. Did I say that correctly?
You did.
Okay. If somebody came to you and said, hey, should I do this? And you're like, you know, it's this class, it's this, you got to deal with this. You know, you go through the rigmarole of it. But then let's say they get a phone call saying, I want this much land and blah, 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 and I want to do it USDA or FDA loan. Mm-hmm. That's a lot, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
How would somebody that's never done it navigate that without handing it to a seasoned agent, right?
Right. Absolutely.
So what if I told you somebody got a phone, like let's say Tory was doing that line of work, okay? She got a phone call, somebody was doing USDA or FDA loan, whatever they could get. They were also wanting a large amount of land. And Tory said, this is what you need to do. In order to have this and have these loans not affect any of because the person that came to her was disabled.
Okay.
And remember, this is like kind of a made up story, so I'm giving you a,
Right.
know, grace here. But this person is disabled, lives off disability. They work, but with disability, you can work only a certain amount, right?
Right.
So she stays in those perimeters, but Tory has this client that's asking for all these things. Tory doesn't know what the hell she's doing. She doesn't know anything about it. But all of a sudden, she goes, wait, before you go any further, if you're going to set up an LLC, in order for anybody, whether it's me or any other real estate agent out there in the world, to work with you, you have to get your LLC in your name before anybody touches you. Then apply for the USDA, FDA loan. If you need a permanent address, ask them what you can get before you apply, and they'll tell you.
Wow.
Tell them you don't have a legal address. If you need one, there's an office here that offers them. Tori's never had any school or anything like that. So how did she know? Because God put it on her heart.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's how you know, right?
Right, absolutely. I mean, these opportunities start presenting themselves,
Yeah.
right? And at some point, it's hard to deny. Like,
Yeah.
if you get all these signs and all these things start adding up, I think it's hard to go, why wouldn't this be an amazing door that God has opened for me?
Absolutely.
Instead of the opposite, which is, you know, some people might start thinking, well, what if this is just leading me down a bad path, or this is, you know, darkness trying to steer me away? Well, if these things keep coming and these people start seeking you out, because say in that case, I mean, that person sought Tory out. I feel like, how could you go, well, that's not something that I should be doing? I feel like at that point it's, how could this not be the sign that God is saying, hey, this is the direction you need to go? You know?
Absolutely. And, you know, I think it's hard for me not to advise this person, hey, this is not God just opening a door, it's him opening a floodgate, like run like the wind with this. So I think that there's so many things. You know what I mean?
What if, like you were saying, how, you know, it just all kind of lines up. What if you're self-seeking that? Like, you just want it so bad that you kind of force these things to happen. It's not actually just God opening the door for you.
I don't think you can force some of this to happen.
Yeah.
But do you mean like, I want to be a school teacher, but I also want to take Reiki classes kind of thing?
Yeah, I guess.
So in that case, Reiki can be a career, right? You can teach Reiki, you can do Reiki, whatever. But if God's showing you like, hey, Reiki keeps showing up in your face. Maybe you don't answer the questions. Maybe you don't feel like anybody's got your back. Maybe nobody's praying for the right opportunity to open for you, right? And those things aren't there, and you just have an undying desire to do it, then yeah, that's God pulling you, drawing you to, right?
Okay.
And it doesn't necessarily always have to be like a career change.
It doesn't have to make sense to
No.
do it. It's just God pulling you.
Absolutely. Drawing you close to things. And what I think is interesting is usually is when it's something that's totally opposite, but yet been staring you in the face the majority of your life. Mm-hmm. And so I asked her, I said, do you know anybody in this line of work? She's like, oh my God, my mother.
Oh.
Right?
Wow.
My mother did this. She just didn't make it public. She's like, people that I hold dear to me do it. And then just boom, 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 boom. To the point that she contacted me yesterday and said, I forgot about 4 or 5 other people in my life that I've been around this my entire life. And I don't know why
You never
no
thought of
one
it.
pushed me there before.
Yeah.
Do what?
She never thought of it.
Never thought of it. I think she felt like she wasn't smart and wasn't worthy. So that's the other thing. Do you feel worthy of accepting a door that God opens?
I think that's the hard part is that people close those doors because they don't feel worthy.
Right.
Or try to.
And they like shut out those opportunities.
Self-sabotage.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they just put... the best example is my teenage boys. Their football in the summer, 4-hour-a-day practices. It's baffling to me that they will get up and be at practice at 6:50. That doesn't mean they get up at 6:50. They will be there at 6:50. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. In the middle of summer. Kudos to them. I am so glad that they love it, but I would have never been that way. I'd have been like, you know what? I don't need sports. But about every other day, I'll go in and wake them up, and they just grab the covers and pull it over their head. I'm like, Mom! So I don't think it's that we're closing the door. We're just avoiding the situation.
Okay.
Because we don't feel loved. And I did ask Tory, do you think if you would have ever found out that Cynthia didn't have your back, would you have been pushing yourself the way you had? And she said, probably not. Because Tori's the kind of person that kind of has been on her own for a long time. She has a husband, she has children, she has friends, she has family, but she's been on her own, especially when it came to her own career, for a long time. And had gone through, like, career sabotage multiple times, other people trying to sabotage, which leads to another question that I think needs to be asked, and something that Tory and I've talked about a lot. When you're in a career, or you're in, whether it's career, church group, bake sale, parents group, relationship, I think this scenario can go anything, and you're constantly being sabotaged. Is that a sign from God? So before I tell you my opinion, what do you girls think?
Is it not darkness trying to stop you from...
Yeah, but at some point do you go, wait a minute, is this darkness trying to stop me, or is this God being like, hello? Because the tattoo, I've told you guys, I have tried 3 different tattoo shops with 3 different tattoo ideals, not in the same area. Yeah. None of them. My 30th birthday, after that fiasco, my mom hated, never wanted me to have a tattoo. Like me or any of my siblings. Did y'all know that? That's why all my siblings are covered in tattoos now.
I knew, yeah.
As soon as my mom passed away, they started boom, 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 boom.
Interesting.
Like, I think my sister Cheney has like 13, Mamie has like 9, and Chaz has 3 or 4 now.
Oh my gosh, I did not know that.
So I'm the only one that, well, I did get this really cool.
It does not count, Tess.
It does count. It's ink. It's lead pencil tip that I got in my arm in 5th grade. But it's a dot that's ink. That's my tattoo. Anyways, I think tattoos are cool. The day after, like a week after my 30th birthday fiasco, my mom took me to Asheville to a tattoo artist, Ryan Fink. Not that I'm shouting them out, but Ryan Fink is an absolutely amazing tattoo artist. The tattoo I showed you my brother got was from his apprentice, right?
Oh.
So anyways, he got this. I scheduled an appointment because I wanted, Drew Barrymore has now I know it's the Turkish flag, but I didn't know then. It's the crescent moon, right, with a star on her big toe. I wanted it since I was 7 years old.
Wow.
On her big toe?
Yeah.
On the bottom of her big toe? Like on her...
No, on the top.
On the top.
Oh.
Like if this
Like
was
the
my toe,
knuckle-ish?
right
Okay.
here.
Oh, okay.
like on the bigger part, right?
Oh, okay.
And I mean, since I was set, it was because I had 17 magazine, and there was and it was like a cool picture. And I loved Drew Barrymore growing up. She wasn't the Drew Barrymore that she is now. I still love her, but she was like different, showing her boobs on David Letterman and going through a drive-thru at McDonald's and getting a cheeseburger Happy Meal with no meat. I just thought she was cool.
Wow, we love that for her.
Yeah, I mean, she was like, you know, wild. She was like a wild part. Anyways, so we make the appointment. We show up. We're 15 minutes early. And if you knew my mother, that was like a miracle, right?
That's not gypsy time.
She even took me. She hated bars. She even took me to a speakeasy bar in Asheville before to get me a drink, so I would be chilled and relaxed for my tattoo. I'm telling you, because I had a really rough 30th birthday.
Yeah.
I get there. And I'm sitting, waiting for Ronnie Fink to come out, who I knew because I used to hang out with tattoo artists. That's what's so crazy. And they say, "Are you Tess?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Well, we're sorry to say this. There's been a family emergency and Ryan had to cancel."
Oh
my God.
And I said, "I didn't know he had family." That's all I did. I was so upset. Like, Asheville's like 45 minutes an hour away, but I was like, Mom was like, "It's a sign from God." Yeah, whatever. So let's fast forward. Okay. My mom had just passed away 2 years prior. I was supposed to go get a tattoo with my sister in remembrance of her, of my mother. I think it was her birthday that they did it on. We were all supposed to go. We text about everything. 2 days before, it's like, dead air. I text my brother. He's like, "I don't know which one." At that point, my brother didn't have any tattoos. He's like, "I don't know, it's whatever." 2 days, 24 hours, well, I think like 12 hours, no, so it was 2 days later, on her actual birthday, my youngest sister posts pictures of my two sisters at the tattoo shop we were at getting the tattoo, but forgot to contact me and my brother. I'm doing air quotations.
Oh, no.
So that would be the second attempt that was a fail.
Wow.
The third attempt was 4th of July of this year. My brother and I go, I don't want to say the name of the tattoo shop because I'm mad at him. We go in, they're doing flash art, $60. I wanted a flash art. I wanted a teeny tiny tattoo on my left forearm in memory of my father. But the thing is, I didn't want it in black. I wanted it in turquoise and yellow, okay? I was very, very specific about that, but I was willing to pay extra.
Right.
The lovely girl at the counter told me, "And no, we're not doing anything but this flash art." So my brother and I were there ready to get a tattoo. And I was even going to hang out if my brother decided to get another tattoo because they had a really cool sparrow. My son's a huge Jack Sparrow fan. I thought, I could get one for him. And I thought, don't just get a tattoo just to get a tattoo, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, nah. I was like, I'm good. She's like, "Come back anytime. Let's do it. Just we'll do walk-ins." I was like, "I'm here and walking in." We're not doing color. I shit you not. Within an hour, my brother starts sending me screenshots of what they have been doing, and it was the tattoo I wanted in color. So let me just say, that's the third try, and I feel like maybe,
Yeah.
Three
Maybe.
strikes, you're out type of.
well, yeah,
Right.
so is that God telling me not to get a tattoo, or is, my mom coming in from the other side?
Stop you.
Don't smoke. No.
It's gonna
But you see what I'm saying? Like, to me, tattoo is not the top of my list. There's other things I could spend the money on and other things I could put the energy towards.
Right.
So when you look at it as you're viewing things, does that make sense? But if it's constantly drawing at you, it's a little bit different. If it's like nagging at you, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're in a career that's constantly being sabotaged, I do think it does make a difference what the career is. Or what the situation is. Like, say, for instance, you're trying to find a church and you feel that God's called for you to go to a church. You feel the calling of going to a four-wall church. Like, you feel it. Like, you need it, right? And every time you go to a church, you see something else. You hear something else. You notice that the pastor's kind of weird towards the little kids. Or you notice that, they won't let women speak. Or you notice that the men sit on the left and the women sit on the right. You're like, maybe this isn't the one for me. Does that mean you stop? No. Because I think that that's God saying, keep going, but there's things trying to get in.
And possibly showing you what your barriers are going to look like.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
you know, if you want to find a church, then you're going to have to find it, and you're going to have to show that you're dedicated to the search of what I'm putting
Yeah.
in your heart. Like,
Right.
Absolutely.
I'm not just going to put it in front of you and make it super easy. Sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. But
Well, I will
think-
say for Tori, it's not super easy.
no.
Yeah.
She's sacrificing different parts of her life. She's stepping back from different things, which I mean, honestly, she's needed to do a lot of that for a long time
Yeah.
in order to further anything about her life.
Yeah.
So it is a lot of people come to me and say, how do I know this is the right thing? How do I know? Because you know, because
There won't be shame or guilt
Yes.
or some other horrible emotion attached to it.
Yeah.
Well, and even that being said, there can be, like, you can feel like, I know Tori's like, well, you know, I'm not going to, what if I go take these classes and my kids need me? And there's already things like trying to get in her way, you know. It's okay. Your kids are going to need you whether you're next to them, whether they're in school, whether they're sitting at home playing video games and you're, you know, 5 minutes away doing a podcast. You're 5 minutes away doing a podcast. You know, most kids don't have that.
Yeah.
I mean, your parents, your dad owned a business, right?
Yeah.
And your dad worked from home, right? And your mom didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And your mom didn't work.
Correct.
So we all came from families where our parents didn't have to leave us. But my mom left us all the time. My mom worked on the road a lot. So she was gone for weeks at a time. And we just heard tell of a family who won't be with their 2 children for a year solid without visits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And families do that. So you have to see, like, does the pros outweigh the cons? And just because of that, you can't let something like guilt, because guilt, here's the kicker with guilt, is not of God. So even if you feel guilt, be like, wait a minute, that's not of God.
Yeah.
I think that's so important to remember when people are thinking of, are going and making a decision.
Yeah.
If there's a part of them that feels guilty about it, well, that's not of God. So why are you feeling that? Where's that coming from? And when we talk about all this, it does remind me of when Eric and I were thinking about moving to Wilmington. Because what you were saying about the different emotions that come into play with it, I feel like there were so many signs that led to us going and being like, yes, this is the right decision for us. I mean, I remember talking to you guys about it. Like, Eric had been kind of looking for jobs, right? And we were living in the Outer Banks at the time, and Eric had kind of been looking for jobs. And there was this one job posting that came up, and it looked a little too good to be true. It was with a great company. It was out of Leland, which is right outside of Wilmington. And he had applied for it and got the position after an interview, but the pay wasn't going to meet where we needed it to in order to buy a house and move, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, gosh, I think this is probably a sign from God that, you know, this isn't supposed to happen right now. I don't know. I feel like we need to stay and see what we can make work on the Outer Banks. So Eric went back to them and said, listen, this isn't going to work unless I can start higher. And then what they did is they came back and offered him even more than he had asked them for.
I do remember this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even more than he had asked them for, which is, I feel like, unheard of for the most part. And not only that, but there were just so many other signs, like people I would talk to. Your OBGYN moved his practice from Tennessee to Wilmington. And we had talked about it, and he was the one that had gotten you through the birth of your 2 children.
Yes, and the weird complications therein.
Yes. And we had just talked about that. He had coincidentally moved to Wilmington, and I had just started going through some OBGYN stuff that I needed, addressed. And it was just like, there was the doubt and there was the guilt, but I think when I worked through it, the peace that came with the decision that was to move outweighed the guilt and
and
what else?
Here's the thing. I do think when God opens these doors for us, he does give us, if this doesn't work out, I'm here. Mm-hmm. Like for Tory, if her job addition, career addition, however you want to word it, doesn't work out, she still has her other career, if you want to call it that.
Right.
He'll give you some sort of safety net.
Right.
And not that he's saying you need both, but you already have this. You're just adding to it. And I think that was something I said to you is, even though it seems scary, it's not like you're going in without anybody that's got your back. You had parents that were like, hey, if you need us, we're here.
Right.
And not everybody has that, you
Right.
know. Morgan, and I know that you're probably gonna be like, this is a horrible example. I don't think it is, because I think it's a story of perseverance. But moving from where you grew up, never living in any other house, always grew up like
Same house.
same house. Like
Same
I moved
people.
growing up, right? You moved growing up with your
Yeah.
parents, right? You didn't.
Nope.
You got up one day, said, I'm moving south. Southeast, really.
Yep.
Packed everything with someone that we would have never thought.
That
you
I
would-
knew for 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you came south.
Yep.
Stopped at my house. Hung out for a week or so. And then went even further. And you had obstacles. I'm trying to say this nicely. You had obstacles.
I had baggage
Baggage and obstacles.
and anchor weighing me down.
Shipwreck.
Yes, but where are you now?
Soaring.
Exactly. So I think, and that's something I try to explain to Tory. When you are in a position where you're telling people to trust God, and you're saying God's got your back, and she does, she does that every day, all day. That's, you know, somewhat of a pastor-like thing, right? And she's telling people, pray about it, give it to God, pray about it, give it to God. When it comes to your own life, it's even harder to do, but you got to do it. And I think that was the part that made her jump off the cliff. Does that make sense? Like, she was ready to leap then, when that part like really sunk in. So
Yeah, when you have that realization that God's not going to drop you,
yeah,
Yeah.
you can literally jump off a cliff. Not literally, okay?
No.
Please do not go jumping off
condone.
cliffs.
okay, this is why Morgan's not a counselor.
But that's what it feels like. Like nothing's going to knock you down.
Yeah.
And when it does knock you down, you know that you're going to get right back up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And because you've been knocked down a few times.
I've been knocked down a few times.
If you guys could see her face when she said that. It was, you know, the scene in Dumb and Dumber
Oh my God.
when they're like, Aspen, Samsonite. I knew it started with an S. Yeah, it was, and the thing is, when you're like, say one of us, and we're watching it from afar, you're going, this is going to be amazing. Amazing. So I'm saying this because I know that there are not just women, but men. I know there are, and people trans curious, whatever. I know there are people out there that are struggling with what to do next, or how to live, or how to make ends meet even. I mean, I know that sounds crazy and bizarre to say, but I know there are people out there doing that, right? Why wait? Tory's in her 40s. And I think that this is something she could have been good at in her 20s if she had the right direction and had the right, you know, people guiding her, I should say, sorry. So how do you guys feel about this? If we could say wonderful things to people, what would be your bit of advice? Because you got to realize, I mean, not everybody has God in their life either.
That's true. What I usually do, or at least whenever I'm like have an opportunity in front of me, I like to think of the very, very worst that could happen if I came out with this situation, and the very, very best. And if I can mitigate the damages and still be alive and happy at the end of the worst, then I'm doing it.
You are definitely a gamer.
I was gonna say.
Because most people would have said prepare for the worst but expect the best. But I love your analogy. I love your brain because that was very D&D.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Mitigate damages. Or
Mitigate
legal.
damages.
That could be legal terms.
I understand that, but the way I think about the worst possible scenario, that was great.
Thank you.
So even if you don't have God, Christ, or maybe you another God or universal energy, to know whether it's universal energy or your next door neighbor or your grandparents or your parents or your best friends, or hey, give us a holler, let us know, and we'll be more than happy to pray about it for you, with you, or without you, whatever you want.
Yeah.
because that's what we're here for. That's one of the reasons we do what we do. And know that, hey, we're going to be praying for you. Because all it took Tory was hearing that someone that she looked up to was praying what God said. Don't just pray for a new house. Pray for a new opportunity, which is a lot different than a new house.
Yeah.
So what about you, Danielle? What would you tell people?
Yeah, I think, I hope, and if you don't, then know that we're here. But I hope that everyone has at least one trusted person in their life that they feel they can go to, a mentor or a parent or a friend or us, that they can run some scenarios by. I know if I didn't have someone to talk to, some people to talk to, good friends and family and all of that, when I was trying to make some big decisions in my life, I don't know if it would have been as easy to make those decisions. But I think take all the advice that you can and then go back home or wherever your safe place is. Sit down with yourself and go to God with it and truly, truly let it go and let him handle it and ask for him to handle it, right? I think that for me, that's the best advice I could have ever taken was, if there's a decision that I have wanted to make or have been needing to make, then, give it to God and trust that you will receive the answer that you need back and sit with it for a while. And I feel like if you, as long as you need to sit with that and wait for God to answer, he absolutely will.
Which leads me to something that we don't normally do. And I hope that this doesn't offend anybody, because I know the word Christianity offends so many. But if you don't know who Christ is, just call out to him and he will answer. And it doesn't always feel like a warm blanket. Sometimes it feels like someone's got your back. Sometimes it feels like someone's got your front or stands beside you. Because I'm telling you, there's been times in my life, and I knew who Christ was I was taught who Christ was as a young child, that I didn't even feel that, and I had to call out to him. And just simply asking for Christ to be there. Like, I need you. You would be surprised. That doesn't mean, like, if you're standing on the side of the road and you're broke down and you're like, Christ, I need you, and somebody shows up and fixes the car. That doesn't mean that's necessarily Christ. But he might have sent somebody.
That's one of my favorite. I don't remember if it was something you told me or a TikTok or what it was, but the analogy of a man sitting in like a drowning boat, and he calls out to God, like, God, send me a sign,
yes.
help me, send me something to save me. And then like a small fishing boat goes by, and they say, and there's two men in it, and they say, hey, can we help you out? And he says, no, I believe God will save me. And they say, okay, good luck with that, and they leave. And another boat comes by with some people on it, and they say, hey, can we help you out? And he says, no, I believe God will save me. And he just keeps going, and he dies, and he goes to God, and he says, why didn't you save me? He said, I sent you 2 boats.
Yes, it's a little bit different, but yeah, it's an old Baptist joke. But
Okay,
yes,
is that
same
what it was?
thing, yeah. It was about a family in a flood zone, and their property being flooded, and he sent a boat, a Humvee, a boat, and a helicopter.
Okay.
And he's like, why didn't you send me? He's like, what did you want? I sent,
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. Listening, like, so if you ask God, what do I need to do? And that's something that's really bizarre, because I asked Tori, I said, did you ask God to show you? She said, yeah. I said, I feel like I'm needed somewhere. I feel like, and my mom and I, we used to travel all across the United States doing gypsy stuff, mountain gypsy stuff, and whether it's, spiritual work and counseling and life coaching and all things like that, and teaching. People were like, how did you get in this? And we answered by saying, we asked God to send us. Send me. And I think that people, they don't know how to respond when you answer that, right? Like when you say, well, we just asked God to send us, and we ended up in a mall in Illinois that we would have never, and that's where we met Morgan. Mm-hmm. Mom was winding down her career, and she was planning on retiring in the Outer Banks, and that's where she met you, and if anybody's listening, please comment on a post or whatever about this podcast where you met us, if you've met us, or if you would like to meet us, tell us where we need to come see you guys, because I definitely feel that us 3 will be out visiting people in the near future. and I could be wrong, but I might have been praying for God to send us. So, nevertheless, don't be upset with me. I think that just asking it, and like I said, if you don't talk to Christ, that's fine, but maybe speak it into the universe and ask. Because I do think whether you follow Christ or any God or anything like that, we all need to like be able to speak out things.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And feel like they come back with it. Yeah. So we also want to talk to you guys about, before we go, a few things. We want to offer our prayers to you guys in a way that if you want to reach out to us privately, it's somesaymgifted@gmail.com. Is that right, ladies?
Yes, ma'am.
But we're also on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok at somesaymgifted. I think that's everything. And X.
Yes.
Kind of.
And we have a
Sometimes.
YouTube channel too.
Oh,
yeah,
YouTube.
we got a YouTube.
Yeah. Comment, reach out to us, email us if you need prayer. Even if it's like, I don't know, I know that prayer sounds nice. Can you just put my name? And we'll just pray for you. And we absolutely will pray for you.
Yeah. And if you need a little more, if you are stuck in the forest and you need to see through the trees, please reach out to us, or maybe even get a little free 10-minute counseling session from Tess.
Thank you for plugging that. But I was also thinking about the burns.
Yes.
Oh.
So maybe you'll have to listen to another episode. But
We've talked about it a little before,
Yeah.
but
A little
we
bit.
want to talk about it more.
well, we have a little bit of time, so let's go ahead and talk about it if it's okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
A burn is, so back in the day, in the Old Testament, back in the day, right? They would bring different offerings to the temple, bay leaves, cinnamon, frankincense, myrrh, all these things. And they would be given to the priest, whatever. They would burn them as a pleasing aroma to God. We still hold those traditions. So we do burns for people. Now, if you just need a prayer, or you got a boyfriend that's not going to leave you alone, or an ex. We do pretty good with exes.
We did Tess is very good with exes.
Yeah. That are, a dirty butt pirate. Or, they just smell funny. I don't know. You need them gone, or you need them to quit harassing you. You let us know, and you say, hey, can you do a burn?
We can even do small things. Like, my mom has been complaining about the neighbor dogs for a long time, how they always just come over into the yard. And I feel like we could really do something about that, Tess.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Mike.
So reach out to us. Oh, I can't wait to hear more about this.
Just something small.
How small are the dogs?
Varying sizes.
Good.
Oh.
I do well with animals. Actually, the girls saw me with several animals earlier today.
Many.
Many varying size.
One tried to get in my face while I was standing on my feet, and it was on its hind legs. It was interesting.
Yeah.
Anyways, we would love to do a burn, and we're, offering that service for free. We do bigger ones that cost money, but little burns. Mm-hmm. So monthly burns is what I like to do.
There you go.
So you guys reach out, let us know. Again, you can find us at somesaymgifted@gmail.com, somesaymgifted on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok and YouTube. You can find me on Facebook at Tesserae Lee McKittrick. Good luck, guys. I'm so sorry. I like Scottish voice. Well, it's true. Reach out to us and let's hear from you.
Comment, review.
Yes.
Also, we'll see you next Thursday.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Love you guys. Have a wonderful night.
Love you.
Love you guys.